Okay, so this quick video tutorial is about how to do the sliding reveals that you saw in my tutorial on the Michelson interferometer using Keynote. And one thing you would have noticed is how the waveforms slid over each other and seemed to vanish in behind the mirrors. So the first thing we have to do is grab the graphics that I have laid down in this window and arrange them into the format that you saw in the Keynote presentation. So I'm arranging the waveforms on top of each other as if they were hitting the mirror, passing through it, or bouncing off. So this whole setup here is to build the scene as it begins. Now you'll notice that the long left-right waveform there you see in the middle is going to be the only waveform that moves, and everything else is going to just kind of intersect with that. So get this whole thing built up here, and there we go. Now I need to sort of build the starting point. There's the source. I'm going to choose where the mirror is going to be. I'll have to confirm that later. There's the mirror it reflects off of. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12. There's 12 wavelengths there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12 there. Oh, I'm too long. I'm going to move this in. 2, there we go. Now I'm 12 wavelengths for each mirror. Now the path lengths are identical. This is the detector. I want the detector to be in position where it's going to connect. And notice these gray squares. Those will be white in the final presentation. These hide my sliding waveform and make it look like it's sliding into and out of the detector. I'm going to put my little detector graphic here, and we're starting to see how pretty much it looks in the presentation on the Michelson interferometer. There we go. We're all set up with the gray squares, and I'm quickly going to set up the power graph here. I'm going to grab the waveform for the power function. I'm just going to set it in position, put the graph there, okay, and then put this square, which will also be white in the final one. I'm going to put a little data dot right at the start. There we go. We're all set. We're ready to go. So get this all covering it up here. There we are. So this is exactly the setup. Now I just need to duplicate the slide. Go to duplicate, duplicate the slide, and now I'm ready to just change the new slide into the view that I want. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the long waveform. There it is, grabbed. And I'm going to grab the square that covers the waveform and hides it, and the label for the mirror. It's always tough to grab things with Keynote. There we go. I got it. And I'm going to now just tap it along with the arrow keys. Tap, tap, tap. You can see the waveform moving and the mirror and the white square, and get it exactly where I want. There we go. I've got it to the point now where the waves are canceling it out. And now I'm going to go over to the power function graph, and I'm going to reveal the plot just down to the minimum, because that's all we've shown with the mirror movement. There we go. Oh, get back. There we are. And then I'm going to grab one of these little data dots and imagine that we're going to place it down there. There we go. Oh, there we go. Place it there. And now we've got a data point as if we had just taken a measurement there. So we're all ready to go. I'm going to duplicate it again so that I don't lose any data between the two. I'm going to delete what I don't need. Delete what I don't need on this slide here. I tend to put everything in and always have a duplicated slide at the bottom which has everything. Now I'm going to use the magic move transition. So I've set up magic move between the slides. A couple of parameters there you can set. But now that magic move is set up, I'm going to hit play and watch what happens. I just move between one view and the other. There we go. And notice how everything was revealed in order. So cast your eye here where I'm indicating and watch those 3 areas. I'm going to do it 3 times. Keep your eye on each of those 3 areas as we go. So let's do the first area here. First I'm just going to get back to the original, and I'm going to change all the squares to white so that it'll look exactly like you saw in my presentation. So all those squares are white. All these squares are white, and then watch those 3 areas once we hit play here. So we're going to go, there we go. I think we're all ready. Oh, I'm going to just change this dot here so that it fades in after the transition. Otherwise, you'd see it the whole time. So it's going to fade in after the transition, and I think we're all set there. Okay, so now we'll go back to play. Now watch this. Start, slide over, and the dot fades in. So now watch this section right here, and watch as the waveforms, as the mirror moves, the distance the light travels changes, and the way the waveform overlaps with itself changes. So that's an important part of the animation. And over here on the right-hand side, you see that the waveform, because the distance changes, is out of phase. And over here on the power graph, you see that when we run it, let's go here, it's as if the system is drawing that line, when in fact all we're doing is moving a white square and revealing it. So the waveforms seem to move, they seem to be being drawn, but really what they're doing is they're coming out from and falling in behind white squares as I use the magic move transition to go from one image to another. And with magic move, I don't have to set up individual actions for every element and saying move this, move that, move that. I just create the picture, I then move things, and I create a new picture. So speaking of a new picture, now I'm going to create a system where we're going to move a couple of wavelengths, and you're going to watch the power curve go up and down twice. So I'm going to grab the mirror and the long wave form, and I'm going to tap it over, tap, 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 tap. So now we're going to hit a maximum. We've just hit the maximum, and we're going to keep going through a minimum. We keep going to the maximum again, and let's keep going. Oh, looks like the waveform's coming out from behind that white square. I'm going to have to go back it up. Come on, here we go. Back it up. There we go. And we'll just go to the second maximum. Okay, so we'll have moved 2 wavelengths. So I'm going to move the square 1, 2 maxima. There we go. Let's put that in perfect position. I think everything looks good there. Select all my gray squares, make them white. Where's format? There we go. And white. There we are. That looks good. And I think we're ready. Okay, I always duplicate the last slide so that I never lose my work. Everything's ready to go here. It's going to hit play. So we'll look at it go. It might be a little fast, but you could see the transition and you could see the power curve whoosh, whoosh, whoosh be revealed as the mirror moves. Now I'm going to change the timing. Go to animate and change the time from a 2-second transition to something longer so that it moves more slowly. So you'll have to adjust this, to make your the transitions not, move at a speed that you can follow. So here we go, watch this thing. Nice and slow, watch the mirror move, watch the waveforms fall in and out of phase, watch the power curve go up and down. It all happens simultaneously as if I'm using some kind of sophisticated animation program, but in fact it's just a magic move slide transition. And most of the fanciness you see in my slides are through clever use of magic move and squares the color of the background to hide my many sins.